Good morning, and what's up, you dang Sphinxes? This is Nick G from Better Commander, and today we're exploring Raffine, Scheming Seer. Raffine presents to us an interesting commander paradigm, that of the Esper Looter. We've seen this before, but tied specifically to zombie tribal decks in Varina the Lich Queen. Let's take a look at this very unique Sphinx, but first, carefully push in the subscribe button. If you jam it too hard, you're going to crunch up your finger like a dang pretzel stick. Take it easy, but definitely hit it. Raffine Scheming Seer is a white, a blue, and a black for a legendary creature. It's a Sphinx Demon. It's a 1/4. Has flying and ward 1. Whenever you attack, target attacking creature connives X, where X is the number of attacking creatures. So to connive, you draw X cards, then discard X cards. Put a +1/+1 counter on that creature for each non-land card discarded this way. The first thing we notice is that it's kind of nice. This commander only costs 3 mana. That's a relatively low cost, so we can get her out early. The ward 1 is also nice and may stave off early aggression. The connive ability is really interesting and very similar to Varina's ability. It allows us to fill our graveyard with big fat creatures for reanimation. While this isn't specifically tied to a particular tribe, Raffine is both a Sphinx and a demon. So why not include some tribal payoffs and key cards to make a mass reanimation tribal strategy possible? Let's add cards like Kindred Discovery. It's 3 blue for an enchantment. As Kindred Discovery enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Whenever a creature you control of the chosen type enters the battlefield or attacks, draw a card. Look at these birds. Some of them discovered how to wear clothes and they're showing these other birds. That's what Magic's all about, dude. This card doubles our draw and can make our deck run really consistently. This just got a reprint and now's a great time to buy a copy. I think it's only a couple dollars. Then we have Reflections of Littjara. It's 4 and a blue for an enchantment. As Reflections of Littjara enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Whenever you cast a spell of the chosen type, copy that spell. A copy of a permanent spell becomes a token. This is a very powerful enchantment that shouldn't be slept on. Right now I think it's only about $2. We got a couple fat creatures in the graveyard and we want to get them back out. Patriarch's Bidding is 3 black for a sorcery. Each player chooses a creature type. Each player returns all creature cards of a type chosen this way from their graveyard to the battlefield. This thing is still under $2 and can get all members of our tribe that we've been discarding out of the yard. Haunting Voyage is 4 black for a sorcery. Choose a creature type. Return up to 2 creature cards of the type chosen from your graveyard to the battlefield. If this spell was foretold, return all creature cards of that type from your graveyard to the battlefield. And it has foretell for 5 black. So this is another tribal reanimation spell that can do a ton of work late game after we've spent a few turns pitching our giant creatures. So we're going to want some reanimation spells in there because we're throwing all this big stuff in the yard. Priest of Fellrights is white and a black for a creature. It's a human warlock 2/2. It has tap, pay 3 life, sacrifice Priest of Fellrights, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield, activate only as a sorcery. It also has Unearth for 3 white and a black. So you can return that card from the battlefield. From your graveyard to the battlefield, it gains haste, exile it at the beginning of the next end step, or if it would leave the battlefield. So basically you can do this twice in a turn if you have Priest of Fellrights sitting out there. Then you have the Bonemizer. What ya buying? What ya selling? It's 4 and a black for a creature, zombie wizard. It's a 4/4. Whenever you discard a creature card, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. When you discard a land card, add black. Whenever you discard a non-creature, non-land card, draw a card. Bonemizer has particular synergy with our commander. This creepy hunchback recycles all our discarded cards and gains us a lot of utility. Surveil mechanic is great in a deck like this, so we have Dakon Shadow Slayer, white, blue, and a black for a legendary planeswalker. Dakon Shadow Slayer enters the battlefield with a number of loyalty counters on him equal to the number of lands you control, so it's a little better late game. +1, Surveil 2, -3, exile target creature. That comes in real handy. -6, you may put an artifact card from your hand or graveyard onto the battlefield. So the Surveil mechanic can fill our yard and dig us deeper into our deck so we can find our key cards quicker. So what tribes are we using? Well, our commander is both a Sphinx and a demon, and is one of the cheapest examples of either tribe. Sphinxes have some great tribal payoffs, so let's start there. So you can add to deck Unesh Cryo Sphinx Sovereign. It's 4 a blue and a blue for a legendary creature, Sphinx. It has flying. Sphinx spells you cast cost 2 less to cast. It's a 4/4. Whenever he enters or another Sphinx enters the battlefield under your control, reveal the top 4 cards of your library. An opponent separates those cards into 2 piles. Put 1 pile into your hand and the other into your graveyard. I don't need to tell you why this is a great card in a Sphinx tribal deck. Windreader Sphinx is 5 blue for a creature. It's a Sphinx 3/7 with flying. Whenever a creature with flying attacks, you may draw a card. all Sphinx have flying, dude, which can make them very hard to block, but we can also include a few flying creature payoffs like he has the belly button Gale Force. It's 3 blue and a blue for a legendary creature. It's a Djinn 4/4 with flying. 2 and a hybrid Azorius. Attacking creatures with flying get +1/+1 until the end of turn. Whenever 3 or more creatures you control with flying attack, each player gains control of a non-land permanent of your choice controlled by the player to their right. So you can steal some pretty sweet stuff with this guy. Alright, so what if you don't want to mess with a bunch of Sphinxes? Well, our commander's also a demon. Like me, I'm a demon. Anyway, demons are a different flavor, and there aren't really a ton of tribal payoffs for demons except for one. Liliana's Contract, 3 black for an enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, you draw 4 cards and you lose 4 life. Not bad. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 4 or more demons with different names, you win the game. Winning the game is a pretty decent tribal payoff, and you get 4 cards for 5 mana, which is pretty okay, even if it gets wiped out or destroyed. It's one of my favorite cards out of Kaldheim. Dream Devourer is 1 and a black mana for a creature. It's a Demon Cleric, 0/3. Each non-land card in your hand without Foretell has Foretell. Its Foretell cost is equal to its mana cost reduced by 2. During your turn, you may pay 2 and exile it from your hand face down. Cast it at a later turn for its Foretell cost. Whenever you Foretell a card, Dream Devourer gets +2/+0 until the end of turn. This is very cheap for what it does. This lets us play out our demons on an installment plan, but lets us hide our removal as well. Archfiend of Ifnir, 3 black for a creature. It's a demon 5/4 with flying. Whenever you cycle or discard another card, put a -1/-1 counter on each creature your opponents control. It has cycling for 2 as well. This can be a mini board sweeper for our opponent's creatures if we can connive with enough attackers with Raffine. Demons also have some of the best tutors on sticks, like Burning Rune Demon and Rune Scarred Demon. This adds a toolbox aspect to our deck. We can go get whatever the situation demands. Speaking of tutors, we have Varragoth, Bloodsky Sire. It's 2 and a black for a legendary creature demon rogue with Death Touch. It also has Boast, 1 and a black. Target player searches their library for a card, then shuffles and puts that card on top. This guy's a 2/3. Okay, this guy's a bit clunky, but with our commander out, we can Boast immediately after attacking, then draw it with Raffine. If we want whatever it is in the yard, we can connive it or use it for whatever we need. I like Demon Tribal and I like Sphinx Tribal, but whatever tribe you choose, both have these super expensive creatures and you could do with some cost reduction. So Heartless Summoning is 1 and a black for an enchantment. Creature spells you cast cost 2 less to cast, but creatures you control get -1/-1. The -1 penalty is negligible when the creatures are so big and you're busting out 2 at a time. So what do you think? Demons, Sphinxes? I made a deck list for each of these and you can check them out from the links in the description. Thanks as always for watching, and don't forget to interact with your life at instant speed. This is going to be Nicky G from Better Commander signing off.